Right. Okay. Good morning. Morning.
Good morning, doctor.
Right. Right. Just take the attendance. As you know, a weekly report is sent every week. Some students have been absent so many times, so they have to be doubly careful because, I mean, the administration has a weekly report on attendance. So make sure that you attend regularly and that you visit the Moodle. That's very important. Right. Okay. Quickly, I'll call your names and take the attendance. Malik Ibrahim. It is the 21st, yeah? 21st of April, yeah. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Malik Ibrahim is absent. Hiba Ahmed. Hiba Ahmed.
نعم دكتور.
Okay. Inas Jamal.
Yes, doctor.
Right. Raida
Yes,
Hatem.
doctor.
Okay. Hamad Hazem.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Yazan Hussam. Yazan Hussam Abdul Halim. Mahmoud Husni. Mahmoud Husni Muhammad. Reem Hussein.
Yes, doctor.
Abdul Karim.
Yes, doctor.
Right. Hanan Diab. Hanan Diab. May Rafi. May Rafi Ali. Amjad Salim. Amjad Salim. Samir Saeed. Samir Saeed. Sohaib Suleiman. Sohaib is not there. Zainab Salah. Zainab Salah Muhammad. Are you there, Zainab?
Yes.
Okay. Tabarak Abderrahman.
Yes, doctor.
Hala Isam. Hala Isam. Salam Ala Ad-Din.
Yes.
Okay. Usama Ali. Usama
Yes,
Ali Muhammad.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Hiba Ahmad.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Dana Isa. Dana Isa Musa. Najla Fathi.
Yes, doctor.
Right. Sarah Farid. I don't want to see anybody having a D, denial, يعني حرمان, لأنه every week we are supposed to send a report, you know. to the administration on weekly basis. Sarah Farid is not present. Yeah. Fatima Kamel.
Yes, doctor.
كيف طلاب جامعة بيغيبوا أنا ما I just can't understand it. I just can't understand it. There is no transportation problem. There is no traffic jam. Yeah. You have delivery education. So why absent yourselves? Ahmed Majid. Ahmed Majid. Ruqayya Muhammad.
Yes, doctor.
Muhammad.
Yes,
Noor
doctor.
Muhammad. Noor Muhammad Hassan. Noor, are you there?
Yeah.
No. Noor, yes?
Yeah.
Noor Muhammad Awadallah, yes? Yeah, okay. Salim Muhammad. Salim Muhammad.
Yes, doctor.
Right. Hadil Muhammad Abdul Hamid. No. Afnan Muhammad. Afnan Muhammad. Lana Mahmoud.
Yes, doctor.
Lana Mahmoud.
Yes.
Right. Reem Mustafa. Reem Mustafa.
William Mustafa.
لا في ريم you are Reem Mar'i, yes? Am I right?
Reem Yasin Mar'i.
You are Reem Yasin Mar'i. This is Reem Mustafa Muhammad. Reem Mustafa Muhammad. Asil Mutlaq.
Yes, doctor.
Yeah, okay. Nur al-Din Musa.
Yes, doctor.
Nur al-Din. Right. Ali Nafi'. علي نافع. ولاء نبيل. ولاء نبيل.
دكتور علي كتب إنه موجود.
Pardon?
علي كتب إنه موجود في الشات. شكل
موجود.
المايك.
علي نافع موجود؟
أها.
بس كاتب إنه المايك معلق عنده.
Right, okay. I'll mark him present then. ولاء نبيل. هبة نعيم. كندا وائل. منى وليد.
Yes, doctor.
And Dream Yasin.
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Of course, we do have some more students. Hiba, Noor, Inas. Do you have Inas?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. Ashraf Muhammad. Ashraf
موجود دكتور.
Ashraf is here.
موجود
Okay.
دكتور.
Mahmoud Sawalma. Mahmoud Sawalma. Do we have Noor?
نور الدين دكتور.
No, Noor al-Din is the.
Oh.
There's another Noor. We have another Noor.
Nur Awadallah.
Oh, is that the one?
Yeah.
Is that the one?
Muhammad Hassan Awadallah. You said my name before.
Noor. Yeah, just a minute. Noor Muhammad Hassan Awadallah. I've marked you present. I thought it was another Noor. Right. Hiba is present. Do we have one Hiba or two? Hiba Ahmed. Shahwan. There's one Hiba. There's only one Hiba, yeah? Okay.
Yes, doctor.
No, doctor, 3.
Pardon?
3, we have 3 Hiba.
Just a minute. Just a minute. We have Hiba Ahmed. There is Hiba Ahmed here, according to the list.
Hiba Imad.
Hiba Ahmed, Ali, Hiba Naim is absent. And you are Hiba Ahmad?
Yes, doctor.
Okay. I'll add your name. Right. Okay.
Doctor, good morning, Doctor.
Pardon? Amjad?
I'm good, Doctor. I'm the show. Okay. Yes.
Just a minute. Amjad Salim?
Yes, exactly.
Amjad Salim Shawab case.
Yes, Doctor.
Okay. It's really surprising that so many students are absent. We're supposed to deal with university students. I mean, not having delivery education. All you need to do is just get up and on your mobile or laptop. So why are so many students absent today? It's not early in the morning. Anyway, we'll just have an oral quiz out of 5 marks. So let's, I'll ask a few questions. Then we'll have an oral quiz to make sure that we combine theory and practice. Okay. So we begin with, who'd like to start? Now, what is Mona? Do you want to start, Mona?
عادي دكتور زي ما بدك.
Yeah, okay. Mona, can you just explain the difference between phonetics and phonology?
تمام دكتور. هسا أول شيء phonetics is concerned with the sound system. It deals with لا دكتور هذا phonology صح. It deals with the structure and the function of the sounds.
Yeah, it deals, I mean, what does phonetics deal with?
Phonetics deals with the transcription of the sounds.
Okay. Now, both phonetics and phonology deal with sounds. Which aspects are dealt with by each sounds?
In phonetics, we use symbols like to describe the sound.
Okay.
And phonology is about stress, about supramental phonemes, and
No, I mean, just tell us briefly the main concern of phonology. So phonetics deals with the classification, description, and transcription of
sounds
of individual
sounds, yes,
human speech sounds. What does phonology deal with?
Phonology deal with two phonemes that are segmental phonemes, are consonants and vowels, and the supra-segmental phonemes that are stress, the juncture, and the pitch.
Okay. Any other attempts? Can you tell us what phonology is all about? I mean, briefly, the definition of phonology.
Can we
دكتور عادي كمان أزيد إشي؟
No, it's okay. I mean, you've
تمام.
elaborated. We need just a short definition of a seal.
Yes, doctor. Doctor, phonetics studies how human produce and perceive sounds.
Okay.
But phonology studies study of system of phonemes in spoken language.
Okay. So it deals with the sound system then.
Yes,
It deals, I mean, phonology, phonetics deals with individual sounds.
yes,
Individual sounds. All phonetics does is provide information. It provides information about individual sounds. Individual sounds.
Yes.
That's to say, how sounds are classified, described, and transcribed. Phonology deals with the sound system. What does it tell us about the sound system?
Doctor, sound system of any particular language.
Yeah, okay. I
Um,
mean, what does it tell us about the system? What information do we get as we study phonology?
If this sound can come together or no, or not.
Okay, so that's one thing. It deals with
Doctor,
sound combinations. It deals with sound structure, how sounds structure, yeah, and how they structure and how they function.
yes,
So phonology deals with the sound system. In other words, it deals with the structure, combinations of and function of phonemes.
yes,
You see what I mean? So it deals with all aspects of the sound system. What sounds occur in the language? What sounds combine together?
function of the
How many sounds combine together? What changes do sounds undergo? And what function phonemes perform? What function phonemes perform? Okay. Now, what is a phoneme, Sarah al-Bkhit? Sarah? Sarah. Do you have Sarah?
Can I, Doctor?
Yeah, Raida.
It's the smallest segmental unit that can change the meaning.
Yeah, it can change the meaning. Yeah. How can it change meaning?
If we add it to a stem, it will change the whole meaning of this stem.
You mean the phoneme or
Yes.
the morpheme?
Phoneme.
We add it to the stem.
May I?
May I?
Okay, Ahmed.
Yes, doctor. If we replace the phoneme, doctor, in a word, doctor, it can change the meaning, like the word park and bark, doctor.
Okay, so now a phoneme is the smallest significant unit. Its function is to change meaning. This is why we need to come to grips with the articulation of each and every phoneme. This is why we study phonetics, in order to describe every consonant sound and every vowel sound. So just imagine that somebody says, instead of saying boat, instead of saying boat, he or she says boat. Now, boat and boat are two different forms. View and few are two different forms. So phonemes are the smallest significant units that can change the meaning of a word. So if one phoneme is mispronounced, is not articulated right, the result is that we have a different form with a different meaning. So those who have a problem with the z sound. So instead of saying raise, they tend to say race. Now raise and race are two different forms. Rise and rice are two different forms. Some people have problem with vowels, vowel phonemes. So instead of saying box or sound, they say books. Some people have problem with the a sound. A sound. Some Arab learners of English have problem with the a sound. They don't have it in their dialects. So this is sometimes misplaced or replaced by a sound. So instead of saying cat, because they have problem with the a sound, they tend to say cart. Now cart is C-A-R-T. That's a totally different form. So a phoneme then is the smallest significant unit that can change meaning. In order to check or to identify phonemes, we try to find minimal pairs. Minimal pairs, that's to say, two words that are identical in every way except for one phoneme. So what do you mean by identical? Fatima, can you tell us about, can you explain this? I mean, when we say a minimal pair consists of two words that are identical in every way except for one phoneme. What do you mean by identical here?
They have the same phonemes.
The same number of phonemes.
Yes.
Same number of phonemes.
Yeah, but they differ in one sound.
Okay. They have the same number and the same order, except for one phoneme. This difference may be initially at the beginning, medially in the middle, or finally at the end. Right. Okay. Now, some phonemes have more than one sound. What do you call these different sounds?
Allomorph. Allomorph.
No.
Allophones.
They are allophones. They are allophones. Phonemes, some phonemes have different sounds. In other words, they are pronounced differently.
Yes.
So the p phoneme, voiceless stumps, p, t, k. Each one of these is pronounced in two different ways. One is if it occurs at the beginning and is followed by a vowel, in which case it's aspirated. Otherwise, it's unaspirated. So a word like pen is accompanied by aspiration, by a puff of air. This is one phoneme of the voiceless stump, p. But if it's followed by, say, L, we say play. the P here is unaspirated. So we say that the phoneme P has two allophones. That's to say, it's pronounced in two different ways. One is aspirated when it's followed by, when it occurs initially and is followed by a vowel. The other is unaspirated if it's followed by a consonant. Every vowel has two allophones. Every vowel has two allophones. One is oral, if it's followed by an oral sound. The other is inoral. The other is not nasalized. The other is nasalized if it's followed by a nasal sound. So if the vowel occurs in a word and is followed by an oral consonant, then it's oral. We call this allophone oral. If it's followed by a nasal sound, the allophone is known as nasalized. Nasalized because of the influence of the nasal sound which follows it. So we say man, man. The a here is nasalized because there is a n sound at the end. But in the word mat, mad, the a is oral, not nasalized. Okay. Now some morphemes are pronounced in more than one way. Again, they have different phonemic shapes. They have the same meaning. They have the same meaning. A morpheme is the smallest meaningful unit in a language. That's a morpheme. It could be a word or part of a word. A morpheme may be a word or part of a word. Like we have, like the past tense morpheme, the plural morpheme, the third person singular morpheme in the present, in the simple present. These are all morphemes. The past tense morpheme is pronounced in three different forms. What do you call these different shapes of
Doctor,
the?
can I?
Yeah, Ines.
Allomorph.
Yeah, they are allomorphs. Yes, allomorphs. Different forms, different phonemic forms or phonemic shapes of the same morpheme. So they do have the same meaning. They have the same meaning. So whether the D or ED is pronounced as D, as T, or id, all three still have the same meaning. They mean past. Same applies to the plural morpheme. How many sounds does the plural morpheme have? How many sounds? Ahmed?
سازا
Sa, and is. Sa, za, and is. Now, are these interchangeable? Are they interchangeable? In other words, can we use za instead of sa and vice versa?
No.
No. Now, what governs the choice of za, sa, or is?
The sound of the final.
Yeah,
the final sound.
The phonological environment.
Yes.
The phonological environment. In this case, it means the final sound. Now, if the final sound is voiced, we add a z, which is voiced. So that's rule number one. Add voiced z to any word that ends in a voiced sound. Z, bag, bags, dog, dogs, mug, mugs, wives. Why is it wives, not wives?
Because it ends with that sound, Doctor.
Because it ends with
The
the sound, yeah. Yeah, it ends with a v sound, which is voiced. That's why words like knife, knives, wife, wives. So this could, I mean, why does the fa go to v? Why do we change? Why does the fa sound change to v?
Assimilation, I think here, because
Sorry,
the vowel before the fa sound is voiced.
Yeah, okay.
So it is articulation. It becomes the sound.
Yeah, that could be a good explanation, by the way. Yeah. All sound changes are justified. They are justified in that they take place to ease articulation. Yeah. This is why even in some Arabic dialects, like in Egyptian dialect, they don't say usbu'. What do they say? Usbu'. See? Yeah, they change the sa to za sometimes. Any idea why?
It's easier.
How? Yeah, it is easier. Yeah, sure. But how? Because the sa sound is voiceless. The ba is voiced. So it's easier to have two voiced, ba and za, than sa, voiceless, followed by ba. Yeah. Right. So we add voice to voiced. Za is added to voiced. Sa is added to voiceless. And is added to, when do we use is?
Sibilant.
Yeah, if it's preceded by a sibilant sound, not letter. You see what I mean? Now in textbooks, they give examples like CH, for instance, or X. They say we use is if the word ends in CH, if it ends in X, in which case oxen, ox should be oxes. Oxen, ox may be pluralized as oxes. Misleading information. I mean, the rule is that is added to sibilant sounds. It has nothing to do with the letters. You see what I mean? It's not the letters which determine the choice of za, sa, or is. It is always the final sound. So is added to sibilant sounds. 6 sibilant sounds. Glass, glasses. Wish, wishes. Clutch, clutches. Judge, judges. I mean, some foreign language learners tend to say judge. Language, languages. So it's not language. Garage, Garages, yes. Yeah. Goose.
Gooses. Geese.
Geese.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Now, these rules, these three rules, three allomorphs, apply only to regular plural nouns. Regular. If we have irregular forms, now the irregular forms, allomorphs, have nothing to do with the phonological environment. We call these, there are two types of conditioning. One is phonological, that's when the final sound determines what allomorph to choose. The second is morphological conditioning. So in case of irregular forms, it's not the phonology which determines which allomorph to choose. It's the word itself. It's the word itself. So for instance, the word data, the word datum becomes data. So we replace um by a. The word criterion goes to criteria. Again, this has nothing to do with the last sound or the final sound. The word sheep needs 0. The word evidence needs 0. We can't say evidences. The word advice, information, people, although we can say peoples if we refer to nations. What else? Goose goes to geese. How about deer? D-E-E-R. What's the plural?
Deer.
Deer, the same. What else?
Phenomenal.
Yeah, of course, like criterion. Criterion, words that have on, like phenomenon, criterion, go to a. The on is replaced by a. So phenomenon, phenomena. Criterion, criteria. So we say the criteria are, not is. What else? How about the word crisis?
The same 0.
Crisis. Yeah. How does it change?
Yeah.
What's the plural?
Crisis.
Again?
Crisis.
No, I mean crisis. Crisis is singular. Crisis is a singular form.
Crisis is the same, I guess, Doctor.
Is it the same?
Crisis, Doctor. I think with the Z.
With the.
With the?
Yes.
Crisis. Yeah. So how do you say? What's the plural form?
Crisis.
Okay, Ahmed, Noordin.
Yeah, same thing. Crisis.
You have a list of irregular verbs, irregular plural nouns here. There's a table, a very good table, by the way. It has a list of irregular verbs and irregular deer, deer, sheep, zero. Advice, I mean, of course, and this differs from one language to another. So this does not necessarily mean that the same word accepts no plural form, addition of a certain suffix. So in Arabic, the word advice is nasiha, yes? Well, we can say nasaih. Dalil, we have dalail and adilla. So we have to bear in mind that there are dissimilarities. I mean, some areas are dissimilar. Right. Now the third allomorph is used with the third person singular simple present tense. A simple present tense with the third person singular. What do you mean by third person singular?
She, he, it, doctor.
She, he, it. What's the Arabic equivalent of the third person singular?
الغائب الغائب.
Sorry? I mean, suppose that you're translating a text and you come across the third person singular. How would you?
ضمير الغائب.
Yeah, that's very good, yes. Yeah, that's good. ضمير الغائب. ضمير الغائب. Right. So, teach plus es goes to teaches. Wish, I wish you. He wishes. He wishes. What else? Laugh, laughs. Move, moves. Leave, leaves. See, sees. So here is the same three rules in case of the plural apply to the third person singular. So add za to voiced, move, moves. Add sa to voiceless, sa to voiceless. Make, makes, make, makes. And add is to sibilants. She teaches. She wishes. She or he sneezes. He judges. Judges as a verb. He engages. Engage, engages, etc. So add voiced za to voiced, sa voiceless sa to voiceless, and add is to sibilants. Now same applies to the indefinite articles. A and an. Are they allomorphs? A and an. Are they allomorphs?
I guess yes, doctor. Yes.
They are. Do they have the same meaning?
Yes, doctor, but one of them for the consonant sound and one for the vowel.
No, I mean the meaning. I'm asking about. They are morphemes. A and an are morphemes. Both mean one. So when we say a book, it means one book. An orange,
yes.
One orange, one orange. Yeah.
Yes.
So they have the same meaning, and they are uninterchangeable. They are uninterchangeable. We can't replace one by another. Both are phonologically conditioned. They are phonologically conditioned. How? They are the choice of a or an is determined by what determines the addition of a or an?
The sound.
The
Which
vowel.
sound? Which
The
sound?
initial sound.
The
What
first
sound?
sound, the initial sound. It's the initial sound, not letter, again. So in a, what's the adjective of history?
Historical?
Historical or historic? Yeah. Now let's have historic and event. What would you add, a or an, before that?
Historic.
Yeah, but in British they say an historic event.
Yes.
They say an historic event. The H is silent, like we say an honest man, an honest, an heir, an heir. He is an heir to the throne.
But we said
that's H-E-I-R.
Warith.
Yeah, Warith al-Arsh, yes, or Crown Prince. H-E-I-R. We say an heir. Right. And of course, a and an are used with countable nouns. Is that right?
Yes, Doctor.
They're used with countable nouns.
Yes.
So if we have uncountable nouns like sugar, we can't say a sugar. Sugar, rice, bread. Can we say a bread?
No, Doctor.
No, some
How
bread.
do you make it singular then?
Piece of bread.
A piece of bread or a loaf.
A loaf, yes, Doctor.
Yeah, a loaf. Yeah. 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 Right. Please let me know when it's time. I know you have a class after this. Yes. Right. So next time we'll have we'll study some details, more details, and we'll have an oral quiz out of 5 marks. Just make sure that you apply whatever rules are learned. Right. Do you have any questions? Any questions?
Yes, Doctor.
Right. Okay. Right.
Doctor?
Yes.
How many segmental phonemes does Arabic have?
How many segmental phonemes?
Yes. I want the number. We discussed it, but I didn't get the right number.
What do you think?
You tell me.
How many? No, how many do you think? I mean, we've been misinformed, you know, for centuries. We've been teaching Arabic, you know, Arabic linguistics improperly, I would say. I mean, we are yet to understand the structure of Arabic. To be honest, I mean, in the area of morphology, syntax, phonology, phonetics, we need to reconsider many various aspects. Yeah, because we still classify Arabic or describe Arabic in terms of the written form, not the spoken form. Just something to tell you, the statistics given that Arabic has 28 phonemes, just 28 phonemes. I mean, this is far from being true, of course. Far from being true. وحرام احنا مستمرين في تدريسها من ال KG, from the KG till the PhD. We parrot the same, you know, misinformation, I would say. تعرفين لو كان عندنا 28 حرف 28 حرف يعني معناته احنا لغتنا مش لغة بشرية. ملاحظين؟ you see what, you got my point? You see my point?
Yes. Makes sense.
يعني إذا احنا الآن بندرس في كتبنا من الكي جي إلى البي اتش دي and post بي اتش دي حتى بعد الدكتوراه. أنا في الجامعة الآن أي كتاب في العربيك phonetics أو phonology أو كذا أذكر إنه عدد الحروف في اللغة العربية 28. يعني معناته فعلا إحنا ما بنتكلم لغة. لأنه ولا يمكن يوجد كلمة في أي لغة بدون يعني just with consonants. أتصور مثلا واحد يعطي إحصائية إنه English has 21 letters. How would you feel about this?
Not right. 36.
Yeah. English has 21 letters. A full stop. How would you react? Being English major or translation major. This is sheer misinformation. Sheer fabrication. فمش عارف احنا متى رايحين نبدأ التفكير يعني. هي المشكلة إنه Orientalists have copied. I don't want to keep you. I mean, if you have a meeting, you are free. I mean, the time is up for this class.
Yes, I don't have.
Doctor, may I leave?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, okay. Time is up for this class. I mean, those who have some questions, they're most welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, pleasure. فهي المشكلة مش سهلة أبدا يعني إنه الآن هم بيصوروا العرب العربيك إنه فيها it has a consonantal root base and then we add a vocalic كلام ما له علاقة باللغة أبدا يعني. حتى الأورينتاليست اللي هم اللي أخذوا من العرب من العرب grammarians أخذوا منهم الأخطاء يعني أخطاء متوارثة. أتصور الآن نعطيكم مثلا a sentence like this, the letter I and then LV, that's another word, BRD, a third word, a full stop.
I love bird.
I
love bird.
How do you know? It could be I love bread.
It's also, yes, if possible.
It could be I love bread.
Bread.
I leave. LV can stand for love, for leave, for live. He lives, for instance. I live. It could be LIVE. احنا عندنا مشكلة. إنه احنا طلاب جامعة الآن يعني هو احنا مفروض مش نبدأ في الجامعة. مفروض في الكي جي نبدأ بالcritical thinking and problem solving. هي مشكلة إنه احنا we are misrepresenting our image, the image of our language, of our culture, of our civilization, of our religion, of everything. We are distorting our own image by misinforming people about us. أنا كان عندي نقاش مرة مع الدكتور بروس إنغام. اختلفت معه في نقطة معينة يعني. So far he's supervised 300 PhDs at least. اختلفت أنا وياه في نقطة علمية يعني. Then I brought evidence. He went mad, I mean, to start with. but I didn't know why. Only to realize that he used that piece of information in his PhD thesis. His supervisor, PhD supervisor, used the same piece of information, misinformation, and the same piece was used and developed by the father of Orientalists, William Wright. But when I brought evidence, everything changed. فاحنا وظيفة العلم إذا ما كان وظيفة العلم عندنا إنه نصحح معلومات إذا في أخطاء إحنا ما نصلحها. نخليها آلاف السنوات نفس الكلام يتكرر. غريب يعني. عم نسأل أي واحد، اسأله الآن أي مدرس بدرس مثلا لغة عربية أو دراسات إسلامية أو حتى القرآن مثلا، تسأله كم عدد الحركات في اللغة العربية؟ يقول 4. What are they? I happened to ask someone out of curiosity. I mean, I asked him how many حركات vowels are there in Arabic. He said 4. I said, what are they? He said ضمة فتحة كسرة سكون. طب كيف السكون بيعتبروه حركة؟ ما بعرف. الحركة السكون هو ضد الحركة. السكون يعني غياب الحركة. السكون معناته غياب الحركة. فكيف نعتبر السكون حركة إلا إذا كنا ما بنستخدم تفكير critical thinking. ونفس الكلام بينطبق على أن اللغة العربية فيها 28 حرف. هذه مصيبة. مظبوط فاطمة ولا لا؟ يعني كيف 28؟ أعطيني أي كلمة بتتكون من سي يعني مثلا كاف سكون تاء سكون باء سكون، هل هذه كلمة؟
No.
طيب الكاف طب تعرف انه مثلا الكاف خلينا ناخذ الكاف و another C بدون نقط طبعا، بدون نقط وبدون without vowel، بدون حركات. يعني الكاف والتاء والباء مثلا ممكن تكون كتب أو كتب أو كتب أو كتب، أو ممكن نستبدل التاء بالثاء تصير كثب
أو كأب
أو كبت مثلا، كبت كاف باء تاء كبت. مصيبة. احنا يعني بنقدم نفسنا على انه احنا الغاز. احنا كيف احمد؟ say that again.
كأب
Okay, yeah, of course. كنب، ممكن كنب كمان. To closely, to watch closely. عن كثب يعني مشكلة والله. وإلى الآن إحنا بعد يعني إلى الآن لما نتكلم عن كتابة كلمة بضم الأول وكسر ما قبل الآخر طب ما هي موجودة الحركات، ليش أكتب كل هذا الكلام يعني؟ طب ما موجودة الضمة والفتحة والكسرة، ليش أكتب إنه بضم كذا وفتح كذا وكسر كذا؟ ما موجودة أصلا. Voweled words, vowel texts nowadays are available. Vowel texts are available. Well, it's your job, by the way, it's your job to introduce some reforms, I would say. Reforms. This is not to change the rules of language, but to rectify the image. To rectify the image on academic grounds, scientific evidence. مشكلة هنا يعني إلى الآن ما بعرف. Anyway, يعني we need to have new dictionaries, new types of dictionaries, new teaching methods. 30 years ago, the educational process was teacher-centered. It was centered on the teacher. Now in the West, it's student-centered. It's the student who is the center of the educational process. This is applied at the level of KGs. They are trained in the area of critical thinking, problem solving. The virus we have, the anti-development virus, I call it, yeah, the anti-development virus is ROTE, rote. That is learning by heart without understanding. Yeah, we learn. We are asked to learn by heart without necessarily understanding. And that's a big virus. It's a pandemic. It's an educational pandemic or an intellectual pandemic. يكون جائحة تعليمية يعني في كتاب يعني if you like you can download it for free. It's A Nation at Risk. A Nation at Risk. It was published in the 50s, I think, 1950s, in the United States. When I first saw the book, I saw it in a book exhibition. I thought there was an imminent attack by the Soviets, the USSR at that time, yeah, superpower. I thought it was the book was about an imminent attack, nuclear attack or something from the Soviet Union. But when I read it, it was to do with the educational system. So if we fail to develop our educational system, introduce courses that meet the requirements of the nation, that need the needs, that meet the needs of the market, we have to start new departments, because every nation has its own needs and requirements. So think along these lines and try to analyze Arabic in light of linguistic givings, modern linguistic givings. Linguistics is a science, as you know. We say linguistics is a science. Phonetics is a science. Phonology is a science. It's like physics, mathematics. So everything is justified. So I'm really sick, you know, I'm really sick with most of these books I see that have been taught for almost 1 millennium, unchanged. We did nothing to contribute to reform. So I think it's your job now. It's as university students, especially those who are majoring in English and translation, have a lot to do because they are in close contact with other cultures. Right.
Yes, Doctor. So, Doctor, if we want a clear and direct answer to the question that Fatima asked, that how many segmental phonemes in Arabic, Doctor? Is there a specific number or?
Yeah, of course, no? But I won't tell you. I won't tell you right now. I want you to investigate. It's a piece of cake, by the way. It's really a piece of cake. Just sleep on it. Sleep on it and let me know of the outcome. Then we'll discuss it. I can give you the answer straight away. I mean, right now. But I want you to think, because I've been misinformed.
Yes, Doctor. It's better.
Yeah. I've been misinformed. We're all misinformed. Yeah. Right. Okay. See you on next week, inshallah.
Take it out, Doctor.
Allah afikum. Thanks for the